Hey guys, welcome into the House of Halas Podcast. End of Bears season recap. The Bears finish with a dub over the Green Bay Packers, 24-22. They finished the season at a robust, healthy 5-12. But you know what? That win may have been the greatest win of my life. I'm gonna stamp that.
That's fucking depressing. Holy shit.
That's a sad statement.
It's been a long season, fellas. It's been a long fucking season. Caleb Williams, final rookie season numbers. Not gonna give the game numbers because who cares? 62 completion percentage, 3,541 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had, 400 rushing yards. He had started all 17 games. I know we don't want to get, we'll get into a little bit more Caleb conversation throughout the offseason. But overall, final impressions from this Bears season before we can move on and talk throughout the coaching searches, the draft picks, what they could do at 10. Let's wrap the season up, fellas. How did we feel at that after that end of that Packers game?
I guess I'll start.
We're waiting on you, Naz. You said you had something spicy cooking.
Yeah, well, I just decided that the narrative this year was really unfair to Caleb, and that victory was like a great exclamation point for me about who really the top dog is about to be. Because if you want to talk about a fraudulent team, it is the Green Bay Packers. And a fraudulent quarterback, it is Jordan Love. Let's just dive deep. Let's just get right into it, okay?
Let's do it.
Here are the Packers wins with Jordan Love as the starter. By the way, they went 2-1 with Malik Willis. So just put that into context. That guy probably won't even have a job next year. At best, he's a backup somewhere. Injured Rams, Arizona, Jaguars, Bears, depleted Niners, Dolphins, Seahawks, Saints, Texans. There's 2 playoff teams in there. One of them they beat, and when they were depleted, we also beat that same team, a 5-win team. And then the Texans, who we all know have no chance of going to the Super Bowl with the way that their offense is operating. So those are their wins with Jordan Love as a starter. In the NFC North, same record as us, 1-5. Jordan Love has managed to have a double-digit deficit in the first half of every single one of those games except one. He was down 28-0 against Minnie, 24-3 against the Lions, 17-7 against the Lions, 13-3 against Minnie again, 14-3 against us yesterday, or 2 days ago. Oh, yeah, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
And that's all garbage time because that's 3 scores, right? That's
how many times have we heard Caleb operating in garbage time this fucking season, and this guy's doing it every week against good teams. It's a joke. And also, I came prepared with the numbers within the division. So let's just take a peek at who did what in the NFC North. Jordan Love, 53% completion percentage, 7-5 touchdown to interception ratio, 1,300 yards, 1,383. Caleb versus the NFC North, 11-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 1,500 yards, 64% completion percentage. This guy's nothing. This guy's nothing. He is riding off one playoff game against a coach who hasn't won a playoff game in 15 years. That's what they're riding off. That's literally what they're riding on.
And Josh Jacobs, who Packers fans literally didn't want in the offseason. They were pissed they signed him.
I legitimately cannot wait for the Eagles to beat the shit out of them this weekend. It's going to be a joke. You heard it here. It's Caleb's time. It's our time. It's over. This was just a precursor about what's to come.
I agree.
Vince Carter up in here. It's over. I love it.
It's done. Consider it done.
The Packers win stamped everything about the Caleb Williams year one experience. The O-line held up better than usual, but they still weren't great. But you just see this guy making plays all throughout the year with the dumpster fire around him. And to Naz's, first point of like the expectations being a little, probably too much for a rookie. I still disagree with that. Everything he showed me in this dumpster fire shows me that with a real offense in year one, with the real scheme around him in year one, I don't know what stats would look like. That's all marginal. That's all who the fuck knows that we would be a playoff team. If we had if Cliff Kingsbury was the OC, we're probably a playoff team. He's that good. He is that good. I don't get how you leave this year with the numbers that he put up, with the eye test that showed you, also seeing the areas that he needs to improve on, and look at these numbers and say, yeah, the kid's a bust. He's done. Get him out of here. He did that in a dumpster fire. He put up the same numbers and some in better as Jaden Daniels in a dumpster fire.
I mean, Frank, if you told us what the numbers were going to be week one at the end of the season, and we looked at what Caleb did over the season, we would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because
there is no question we would have been thrilled with that.
Yeah,
6 interceptions.
And 20 touchdowns, what was it, 30, almost 400, 3,400 yards, 3,500 yards?
4,000 total yards.
4,000 total. We said in the offseason, you guys can go back to when we were named something different, or I may have deleted the episode, I don't know. But we were saying, all of our predictions were anywhere from like 33 to 3,700. He met our expectations. What we did not expect, because Nas worded it brilliantly a few episodes ago, we thought this roster was dummy-proof for the bad coaching staff that we had. And we also thought Shane Waldron could do some common sense things that he was worse than Getsy. But yeah, I leave this season, Jack, and I leave that game excited. That was the stamp of excitement for me. Because the only point that I wanted to make sure that I made about that game is all of these fucking idiots worried about draft position. You're stupid. We have not beaten Green Bay in, 6 seasons? 10 straight losses. First of all, that was the first Sunday afternoon win in about 3 years. That has been
on
forever,
the road too.
Yeah. But the overall point is, when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, why have they been so good the last few years? The answer is they draft well. They've also been making the playoffs. They're not getting top 10 picks, fellas. They're making these picks mid to late rounds. Good GMs, good scouts, they get this talent no matter where it's at. That's point number one. Point number two, and this should like slap everyone in the face, and that goes for fucking Carm and all these CHGO bozos. I hope their budget continues to get slashed. We have the quarterback, you fucking morons. I don't care if we're picking at 7 to 10, 8 to 10, 9 to 10. We have the quarterback. If this was last year, I'd be pissed. Make no mistake, because we didn't have the quarterback. We have the quarterback, y'all. Build around him. It's not going to make that big of a difference from 8 to 10. If you have conviction about someone, you have 2 seconds, move the fuck up and get him. That's it. That's the rant, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very well said. It's a draft that if you really, the more I think people start to look into it, obviously you want to get the best offensive lineman available. Doesn't sound like it's that top heavy in terms of offensive line talent. Wide receiver talent, we're pretty much set, I think. Obviously we'll look to add free agents maybe later you're not drafting a first round wide receiver. That, like, I think we can all agree on that. The difference between 7 to 10 when you have the quarterback, like you said, Frank, it's negligible, especially when all we've heard people talk about is how they want this team to learn how to win. And granted, a lot of the players on this current roster will most likely not be here next year. The coaching staff will most likely not be here next year. But I think for Caleb's sake, like, you saw a guy who threw an out route, a bubble screen with no screen to DJ Moore for, it would have been a no yard gain anyways. He fumbles the ball. The Packers recover. They kick the go ahead field goal, whatever. Caleb could have just folded right there and been like, fuck this. This is enough's enough. But you saw time and again throughout the season, his, like, I think it's like 95 quarterback rating, fourth quarter, put them in, again, a position to win the game. A guy who'd been hit 70 times, did not miss a single start. I don't really even think he popped up on the injury report that much.
Nope.
And so for a rookie like that to continue fighting, to have trust in DJ Moore, regardless of what happened this year, after the fumble, threw it to him, let him make a play, got him in field goal range, kicked the game winning. Like, how, as a Bears fan, do you walk away from that being like, oh, well, we could have had the 7th pick? Like, really? Like, why are you watching? Go play fantasy football.
Yeah.
Go enjoy another team, please, because you're not a Bears fan if you cannot find joy in the Bears beating the Packers in Lambeau against their starters. Because make no mistake, you see the Packers fans, you see Bears fans who clearly weren't watching. Well, it was against their backups. No, it fucking wasn't. They had all of their starters in. Maybe not on defense, but a lot of their big name players were in that game from start to finish because the Packers wanted to win that game.
Yeah, they wanted the 60.
Caleb Williams still beat them.
Yeah, they
wanted the 60.
Listen, can I tell you all something that makes my dick absolutely rock hard about that DJ Moore throw late in the fourth quarter? Is we just heard Thomas Brown say that Caleb Williams has literally zero power to audible at the line of scrimmage. So he went from having like he went from a communist state with Waldron to a fucking authoritarian fascism state with Thomas Brown. So he had no in between here. But he just straight up told DJ, this is what we're going to do based on the coverage. He just straight up told him, like, I forgot what the exact breakdown was, but he's like, if that safety's on you, you're going out route. If it's not, we're going slant. And he was like, okay. And he just did, like, that's incredible. Even in a situation, I mean, again, that just sort of encapsulates his whole experience here. Even in situations that are not meant for him to succeed, he has found ways to flash. He has found ways to show you that he's the guy. And I think that's the resounding thing from all three of us. How do you leave this season not impressed by this kid? Because I look around with these other rookie quarterbacks, particularly Jaden, and the comparisons will always be there. It is what it is. My general stance is more than one quarterback can be fucking good in the class. Same thing with Bo Nix. They can all be good, and that's fine. I want them to be good. More young quarterbacks is good for the NFL. But I look at those systems in place. Caleb may have tossed for 4,500 yards in that system with Sean Payton. The people wide open, the little dink and dunks that are there, the safe options on blitzes that are there that we just have none of, and he's still producing at the same rate at those guys. He's the guy. He is the guy. I've never been this confident. People can go back to all of our past episodes about Mitch, all of our past episodes about Justin. We saw certain flashes. We never saw this, and we never felt like this.
Yeah. I mean, the system's in place, like you said, Frank, like to your point about Cliff, if Cliff had been OC, they would be a playoff team. I still don't know if that's true, just given the offensive line. Like that's an issue. It sounds like Tevin Jenkins more or less said he's probably not going to be back, which take it or leave it. He's good when he's healthy, but he's not really ever healthy. Like we had to watch Jake Curran play, and Karan Amagaji, the 3rd round pick, is not ready. So you have Larry Borum starting over him. This is about as bad of a situation as it gets. And people who were down on Caleb yesterday because the offense could not get it going again in the first quarter, which if I see any of that next year, regardless of who's head coach, I'm going to be furious because that was the worst starting offensive team I've ever seen. Like it just could not establish anything. And the fact that, like you said, Frank, Caleb didn't have any authority to change plays. Like you saw some of the frustration yesterday on the sidelines too, when they would come off the field because the amount of bubble screens that Thomas Brown is a fucking screen merchant. Never saw that coming. It's crazy. And he still put up one of the best Bears quarterback seasons that we have ever seen after all of that. And yeah, it's 17 games. I get it. But still, like, it's a 17 game season now. So he gets the extra game. And he played all 17. So it's so hard not to believe that this isn't the bottom. So the idea that it can get better and it should get better with the right head coach, the right offensive play caller in place, better offensive linemen, whether that's through free agency or draft, it's hard to not believe that this is not necessarily the floor for Caleb because it's still a good season, but it's hard not to see that this is or argue that this is his ceiling. Like this is going to be his best year. How you can't make that argument.
No, this is his floor. This is absolutely his floor because we talked about this last week. nothing that Caleb has done this year has made me feel any different about him, positively or negatively, because he's just going off of, this is just raw talent. He has no support around him coaching-wise. He's got no development this year. This is just baseline Caleb Williams. What offensive coach was in his ear that helped him with anything? I mean, maybe Thomas Brown, he seems at least like from a mentorship standpoint, but Shane Waldron certainly was not doing him any favors. The offensive line certainly wasn't. To me, this is his floor, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just like looking at Naz's reaction because he's just like, yeah, I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, like
he's been saying this all year.
Yeah. Are we good to talk about, I guess we sort of went to, we're kind of on our high horse here, and we're going to be transitioning over to the disappointment level of things.
This is by far the most disappointing Bears season.
Okay, wait. So I put that prompt in, though. Let's talk about it. Because I thought, when I first thought about it, I thought, yes, 100%. But there were certain writings on the wall, especially with a rookie quarterback, even though I don't want to put my foot in my own mouth after I just said if there was a better system around him, this is probably a playoff team, and this offense is infinitely better. But there were certain writings on the wall that you can say, okay, you can squint and go, all right, I get why this would maybe not be a playoff team, maybe not a 5-win team, but 7 and just miss it. 2019 is if not number one, in very close contention with this year. 2019, after that 2018 season, thinking, oh, year 2, it's offense 201 with Matt Nagy, and Mitch is going to make the step. I still think that's the more disappointing season of the two. It's close.
It's tough because I get the argument.
Argue the other end then. Play devil's advocate.
Because I get what you're saying, because you're coming off the 12-win season. You lose in just a horrific way that I just saw. I think it's the 6th anniversary of it today as we record this podcast. So that's an infamous loss right there. You come in with the expectations that your quarterback, that Matt Nagy is the guy. He's proved a lot, but we had a lot of questions about Matt Nagy, especially at the end, especially in that playoff game, because if you'll recall, the offense didn't do anything until that fourth quarter when he just kept making the same double move throw to Allen Robinson. It just kept working. So I get that, but I just think where the Bears were at, and it's not necessarily fair to them, in my opinion, but given the current landscape of Chicago sports and what the 2020s have been, there were a lot of expectations on this Bears team to just be good. And we saw what this team looked like with Justin Fields, and we were sold a better prospect. We all the three of us believed that he was a better quarterback, which proves true. He proved that this season. It was, they upgraded things. They got Rome Odunze. It was going to be exciting. They traded for Keenan Allen. They signed Jalen Johnson. They signed Montez Sweat. All this stuff. It felt like a pretty weak division outside of maybe the Lions. Like, we didn't think anything of the Vikings, really. Right?
And that portion proved to be wrong.
Correct. But expectation-wise, at the beginning of the season, it felt like a winnable division. Or at least a winnable conference. Like, this should have been a playoff team. So I just think with Caleb, like, we've never had a prospect like Caleb. And I think that's where expectation-wise, like, we kind of knew what Mitch, we had an idea of what Mitch was.
Yeah.
But we thought maybe he just hasn't hit his ceiling. With Caleb, it's like where Caleb is now, Mitch will never reach. Ever.
Well, and
he was never going to reach.
I don't want to go back to why we're encouraged because we're disappointed, but this is his floor, and he's been better than the last two rookie young quarterbacks that we've had, and it's not particularly close.
It's not. Yeah, it's not close. No question.
Naz,
no question.
Talk to us. Which year do you think?
I never felt like. I think it's this year for me easily, because there was always that doubt with Mitch. They didn't even want him to play his rookie year. He was that far behind. I never got to the point where I saw him make a play and or have a game where I felt like, oh, okay, that was a step in the right direction. There's something here. I was always nervous that there was nothing there. with Mitch.
And
Whereas Caleb from the outset, even in these shit games, was doing stuff Mitch could never do.
Yeah.
So I would say this year was a little more disappointing for me, for sure.
Well, and you also have outside things too, where Frank, one of your biggest talking points on this podcast forever has been, I just want to see fun offense. Like, and it was set up to be that with DJ Moore, with Keenan Allen, with Rome Odunze, with the signing of DeAndre Swift. Obviously, we didn't get a ton from him. I liked what he did in the Packers game. Not gonna lie. Anyways, there were players, there were household names that you knew, and that and Rome, very exciting draft pick. It felt like an offense that could go off and just be fun. And I think that the expectation for that 2019 team were to be better than a 12-win team and to win. But obviously, this team specifically was to bring joy back to our lives. So I think from the expectation wise,
I look at this team. We had some doubts with Nagy. We may have been out or on the fence with Mitch. Those weren't the severe red flags that this offensive line and this coaching staff had, particularly Matt Eberflus. We were already out on Eberflus. We were not out on Nagy just yet. But again, even if you had your doubts, you were always going to give him at least a second year because it was a really good first year. He won Coach of the Year. So that's where, for me, it's 2019. And then they shipped off Jordan Howard. They sold you more diversity on the offense, having Montgomery, who can catch the ball, and Tariq Cohen, who can also catch the ball, so you don't always know what's happening if one or the other is in there. The excuse that Trey Burton is gone and he may be back and that he's going to unlock more things. Anthony Miller was supposed to take another step. He looked like a real guy year one. There was a lot of things that were supposed to go right in 2019 that just, and none of it did. The defense was still very good, obviously. That didn't really go anywhere. But on the offensive side, everything regressed. Because we're doing it right now with this season. Is disappointing. And first of all, let me say to the listeners, I'm not advocating that 2024 was a non-disappointment. This was a disappointing year. I'm just saying I think 2019 was a little bit more of a disappointment, but we're still using this season because it was Caleb Williams' rookie season, and we know we're going to get a new coach as a foundational building block of what could be. We didn't do that with You couldn't even squint and do that with 2019. We were like, all right, blow it the fuck up again. It's all over. It's done. It was doom and gloom. We're at least coming out of this saying like, hey, there's some positives for the future. There was none of that. We're already talking about trading Mac by the end of 2019.
It's really about what our approach this offseason is going to be.
Yeah.
The biggest disappointment for me this year was our approach to the offseason, what they felt like they needed and didn't need. And the DeAndre Swift signing, man, it was killer. It was reminiscent of like other Chicago signings in the past from other teams. And that actually kind of brings me to this part. I kind of want to do this exercise with you. Okay. Like the Swift signing was like, you would say like, that's the quintessential Chicago signing. And I started thinking in my head, well, why, like, what do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. Here are some nominees, and I'm going to let you guys think of some other just like quote unquote Chicago signings. Okay. Jared Allen, $32 million in 2014. Oh man, that one hurt. Rip Hamilton for the Bulls. 2011.
Oh yeah.
Dwayne Wade, 2016. We trade for Nomar in 2004 when that other team doesn't even fucking want him anymore, and they win a World Series without him. Some people would say the Soriano signing was very much like that, even though he was like electric year one.
Oh yeah, he was phenomenal. I love
But
Fozzie.
He had a 50-50 season before that. He never stole more than like 20 after that. Anything coming to mind for you boys?
There are two
most Chicago signing.
There are two that come to mind for me immediately, and unfortunately, they're both from my beloved Cubbies. Milton Bradley, right fielder.
Oh.
Another one, Juan Pierre, center fielder. We needed that slap hitter in there, baby, at number one.
Honestly,
we always thought that was like what was missing from the team.
Yeah, that's what made it great.
Like,
that's what made it great, though.
Shit.
But it was because, we just need that leadoff guy. We need the guy to get on base and steal and just do his thing. And like that's kind of what we needed Swift to be. We need the electricity. We need
the juice.
The juice. Yeah. We need someone that is explosive. And he brought none of that in the same manner that Juan Pierre brought none of that.
It was like, the numbers are there, but when I'm watching that, it's not looking the way I thought it would look. Zach, you got any?
I don't even have to look farther than this current Bears team. Because Keenan Allen is that. Keenan Allen is the most Bears acquisition of all time. The guy who puts up numbers after numbers with shit quarterbacks, no matter who's back there, he's putting up numbers. He's the most reliable hands in the NFL, comes to Chicago, and just fucking drops everything. Like, that was so Bears. It hurt so bad because it's just like, and the touch, the interception he threw, if that's like the last thing he does as a Bear, like just chef's fucking kiss.
The way he just put his hands right back in his pocket, like
whatever.
That was great.
I hate to do this, but I do have to give the Lifetime Achievement Award of this to the White Sox, who signed Bo Jackson, Albert Bell, Ken Griffey Jr., and Manny Ramirez within a 20-year span. Just like unbelievable. And I'll have you know, 3 of those players are they were born within 6 years of each other. But somehow, over a 20-year span, all 4 of those guys played for the Chicago.
Todd Frazier.
Unbelievable. Chicago White
Adam
Sox.
Dunn. Is Adam Dunn counting that?
Adam Dunn, Adam LaRoche.
I'll throw him in there.
Yeah.
All those dudes.
Wait, I wish we had this prompt back when we actually had fun players, because in the total opposite vein that just popped in my head, Akeem Hicks being like, low stakes and just being phenomenal for this defense. The one that I thought of in that same mold was when the Cubs signed Jim Edmonds. No one had expectation. He just came in and fucking gave us magic for 2 seasons.
Yeah. He was Keith like Bogans. A fan favorite immediately. Yeah. Like all about. He was supposed to be washed up, but played well.
It's like Keith Bogans. Keith Bogans scored 6 points, and they always won. The record was like 12-2 when he scored 6 points.
No, it was higher than that. It was like 30-2. It was crazy. When he scored 6 points, we just won. It was phenomenal. So I did want to ask though, with the Keenan Swift thing, is DeAndre Swift the Keenan Allen of running backs, or is it the other way around? No,
because don't be disrespectful, because DeAndre Swift has never had a season like Keenan Allen has. Don't be disrespectful.
That's true. Okay, so Keenan Allen is the DeAndre Swift of receivers
of Bear signings. Yeah,
that's that. But that sounds worse. Wait, that sounds worse than what.
That's fine. Fuck Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
I hope I never see him as a Bear again.
Dude, that's such a good
That might
prompt.
be a segment later. Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope for Keenan, to be honest. Like,
well,
what would be very Bear is him leaving and having like a 1,200-yard season.
He did say if he's playing next year, it's in LA or Chicago. He did say that.
He's going to the Rams, 100%. He's not going back to the Chargers. I will say though, that is going to be a good discussion to have in the off season. Because for as many drops as he has this year, and as annoying as it was, especially those big 3rd down ones, Caleb trusts him a lot. He goes to him late a lot. Like, I think that is to be said. I would hope that, if he were to leave, he can find that sort of success elsewhere, predominantly or hopefully like late or middle of the field with Cole Kmet or whoever the fuck's playing tight end. But that does mean something. So I think it's worth a conversation of whether or not we want him to be re-signed for as frustrating as a season as it may. Because the one thing we have to give him a bone, and really everyone, he wasn't utilized correctly. He was used as the X in Waldron's system for some reason. It was strange. You still got to catch the ball, though.
Yeah, catch the fucking ball.
I mean, again, like, I want them to catch the ball for sure. It's what they're paid to do. Some of that's on Caleb, though. The touch throws got to get better. The footwork's got to get better. The placement's got to get better. Like and part of it also is the scheme of the entire offense. Like, there's no rhythm to it.
Yep.
When there's no rhythm and you don't know when you're going to get a ball, it is just harder. And I know I'm making excuses for these guys, but you get the right mind there calling plays, we're going to see less drop balls for sure.
Well, no, and that's the thing though, is I'm with you. Some of it can be drawn up as excuses, and that's fine. But I think you have to live in reality and say, like, this is a conversation that I have with my dad nonstop, because he's like, oh, like he's just, I don't know how much of it is real, how much of he's just frustrated and he's talking shit on Sundays. He's like, Caleb fucking sucks. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have the it thing. I'm like, Dad, when everyone is not doing something right, it's the system itself. It just is what it is. Like, and we're named. So even though I'm out, maybe I'm doing the same thing to Swift that my dad has been doing to Caleb, but he's also been misutilized and used in the wrong way. Obviously, the offensive line has done no one any favors, regardless of scheme. But that is one thing that we have to keep in mind when trying to evaluate everyone on this team, is particularly the skill position players. It's just Keenan was just not used the right way. I don't think Rome was either. DJ, clear as fucking day, was he? This was, I did not realize this until someone put the caption up on Twitter. This was the most amount of catches he's ever had in a season, and he's like 400 and something yards short of what he had last year. That's embarrassing.
Wild.
That's embarrassing. He had 98 catches this year.
That's crazy.
Isn't that fucking insane?
Yeah, that's just wild, dude. That's sad.
His average per catch went down from like 14.3 last year to 9.8. If I'm remembering the numbers correctly, it was something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're under 10 yards per catch as a receiver, that's a problem.
Well, especially one with his. I mean, he's not known as
fucking cop out.
Yeah.
Like by these OCs, it's like, all right, we're just gonna get in our playmakers' hands, and they got to make players got to make plays. It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess on some level, but can you set them up to succeed just a little bit better instead of hiking it and throwing it right fucking to him? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my question, if I'm in the room, literally, I have one question for my offensive coordinator. We are down to our second and third string offensive line, maybe with one or two starters in there. They're clearly struggling in pass pro. What is your answer to that? If the answer back to me is not get the run game going, you are not going to be the head coach or play caller of the Chicago Bears. Because we continue to see guys, we talked about it with Getsy. Is it not trusting Field? Is it not trusting the line? We don't fucking know, but he didn't trust something. And his answer to it was screen passes. We saw the same exact thing with Waldron once he started to distrust the offensive line. It didn't help that Caleb's quick release on those and timing was fucking immaculate. So like it did work more than it did with Getsy. But then same thing with Thomas Brown. If I can't trust this offensive line, my answer is nonstop bubble screens. They don't work. Get physical. If nothing else, have your 350-pound men fucking hit the guy across from them. That's it. Control the clock, control the game, and make timely plays. If that's not your answer, you can't be here. You can't get gimmicky when you have a bad offensive line. You just gotta try to play powerhouse football.
I mean, I think the Vikings-Lions game was like a really good indicator. Like when you have a quarterback that's developing or maybe shaky in some areas or still learning or has proven that they can't do certain things, you get them under center.
Yep.
Help them out. The shotgun runs are going to be the end of me. They really, really fucking are. Get him under center. Our run blocking was not awful this year.
It wasn't.
It was not awful, even with the replacements. It was fine. And if we had stuck with that, I think Caleb is a little more successful, a little more, well, he's definitely not getting hit as much, no question. And he's got clearer lanes down the field, hopefully. So.
I agree. Naz, that was everything prompt-wise. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to touch on, but I know we want to make our playoff picks as well. And for the listeners who are only here via audio, Jack had to get his kid has been sick dealing with whatever virus is going around these days for the young ones. So he probably will not be here for the remainder of the episode. Was there anything else before we get into the playoff picks?
No, really. I mean, nice to end with a dub.
It was. Again, like, I upplayed it. And everyone who's now getting familiar with this, because our clips are going a little crazy, that's going to be a fucking TikTok, make no mistake. But I am really upset that people were taking this angle of, like, we got the fucking 10th pick instead of the 7th pick. I mean, maybe feel that way if we beat, like, the fucking Browns or something. We beat the Packers, dude. Because that's another point that I forgot because I got so wound up. That means something. We're like, make no mistake. Anyone denying this, you're just an idiot, and I have nothing for you. We're the little brothers in this scenario. So anytime you can punch Big Brother in his face, that fucking means something. It's the same. It's the White Sox feel this way about the Cubs, whether they admit it or not. It is a thing until it's not a thing anymore. Until Caleb can come and save us, it's a thing.
Yo, when was the last time we beat the Packers? When was the last time we beat the Packers in Lambeau? It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the Packer fans know it. It was clear by them.
Dude, the way they reacted to that,
fucking bitches.
Inject that
Losers.
shit into my vein.
Absolute losers.
Yeah. Oh, and listen, they better get fucking used to it. Don't let us get Ben or Vrabel. You give us Ben or Vrabel, we are fucking. I don't know if we're running the division. The Lions are going to be good, depending on what they do with the coordinator wise. But we're fucking owning the Packers. That's all I'm saying.
We can jump to second in the division, like no question in my mind.
Yeah.
Through proper team building and a proper coach hire, like just like having pass pro and an actual game plan, game to game. Absolutely, we're right there.
Agreed.
We're right there. And honestly, who gave we've given the Lions as tough a game this year as anybody has.
Yep.
So let's not get it twisted. And since Jared Goff and Dan Campbell have been there, we've been giving them tough games. Like, we match up well with them.
We do, for whatever reason, which is so strange because their trenches are
like, we were deflated. This last game we played, the Lions were deflated, but like before that, like, it has been a grind for them to beat us since Dan Campbell's been there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's a little strange because our trenches have never matched up with them outside of maybe year one of Campbell when we dominated them. But like these last 2 years, it's not even close. Like, their trenches are so much better than ours, and for whatever reason, we just give them a good fight. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be had with this next coaching staff, and I just don't think it's going to take rocket science. It's literally, and this is harder than what it sounds, but it's literally 2 or 3 starting offensive linemen, and I'm just strictly speaking for the offense here, and an offensive game plan that makes sense and caters to the talent that you actually have, whether Keenan is here or not. Because Rome was misused, DJ was misused, Cole Kmet, I don't even want to say, that would be disrespectful to the word misused to say that what they did to him. He was just invisible. They didn't use him. He was a ghost. And then obviously same thing with Keenan. Everyone on this offense was misused. And like, don't take my word for it. Look at guys who break down film and on all 22 that are 2.5 hour episodes long early in the season, like asking why the fuck is Keenan your X here? Why is he the first read on some of these plays? Like, he is your third down route runner guy. He shouldn't be. This is not his route tree. So it's not going to take rocket science to get this thing turned around, I don't think.
I couldn't agree more. All right, we ready to move on with the picks?
I am so ready. And I had not even taken a gander at. I saw what they were right when it happened. I was like, oh, this is great. And then now I'm looking at it again for the first time. I'm excited for these matchups, Nas.
Yo, like, I with the exception of 2 of the 6 games, like 4 of the 6 of them, like, they're gonna be like must watch. 100%.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. So we got Chargers, Texans, and Texans are they're underdogs, 2.5. The line is 2.5. Chargers minus 2.5. So a field goal game, essentially 6 points, because this is a home game for the Texans. And I think I'm gonna take the Chargers.
I'm taking the Chargers as well. Listen, the Texans have not fought adversity well this year. See, I'm not saying this sophomore slump is a thing. I don't want to say CJ Stroud is out by any means. I still think he's very talented, very good quarterback, but something just feels off this year. I know they've been dealing with injuries. The offensive line isn't that great. OC is shaky. The Chargers are the antithesis of that. They have Jim Harbaugh, the best culture builder in the league, the toughest coach in the league. He fucking builds. And I think you're going to see that.
Herbert's coming along too. Like, Herbert's getting hot. Like,
Dude,
you just feel like there's a cohesion factor within the Chargers right now. Like, they're all on the same page.
Oh yeah,
dude. I mean, CJ, like, there's definitely been a regression, but that regression, it was caused by negligence. This dude's running for his life every fucking play. He's never just standing over his feet, like, surveying the field ever. Even like, I would argue Caleb's been able to do that more than CJ this year. It's wild.
Yeah. I also
Truly wild.
I didn't know that your boy Ladd had almost 1,200 receiving yards. That kid's a stud.
Dude, that guy's good.
That kid is a stud. I like him a lot.
Yo, if Reek goes there in the offseason, like, then we're like, that division, oh my God.
I know.
I would, I mean, hey, Antonio Pierce, keep it up. That's good work you're doing. All right, we got Steelers, Ravens favored by 9.5 at home, and I think they're gonna wipe the floor with them. I think this is a 10-point game. I think the Steelers are cooked.
Yeah, they're tailing off. They're tailing off bad here. I don't have nearly as much to say about this game. The Steelers are kind of who we thought they were going to be, though, regardless of who was at quarterback. Tomlin lifts all boats. I don't think they're a 10-win talent team. He's just a very good football coach. Obviously, Russ got hot. The Ravens are gonna mop them. This is going to be a potentially even like an ugly clock control. Derrick Henry, 180 yards, and they win by 17.
The only way I see something happening is if Todd Monken does that thing that has done already now and before, where they mix up their game plan from what's been working all season, and they get Lamar like doing a little too much through the air, and then it gets like a little weird, and you can kind of feel the anxiety in Baltimore when this happens, when like teams are hanging around like a little too long. And just a reminder for everybody, Lamar, 2 playoff wins ever. Just saying. It's you know, if you want to change the narrative, you got to start winning some games.
This is the year. This is the year to do it. 100%.
I'm not particularly worried about him for this game. I think they're going to run away. But if that first quarter starts a little shaky, oh baby, you best believe there's going to be some anxiety in that.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Now we got the Bills at home against the Broncos, 8.5. I actually think that line's like a little. That's a little. I don't know. I don't know if they beat the Broncos by more than a touchdown. To be honest, I do think this game. I think people are kind of like thinking the Bills are like. I don't know if they've like fooled everyone, but like I don't think that they are physical enough to put a team like the Broncos like away. Unless Josh just goes superhuman on them, but I see this game to being a little closer. I still think they win this game. Yeah, but I do see this game a little 8.5's a lot against an elite defense like this that punishes inside runs. Like they're not going to run on this team. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
I'm pretty much on the same page as you. I think where the Bills excel is getting James Cook out on the edges, out on the tackles, off tackle. I think they'll see success there. Where I land, I try to go like, you know, lowest common denominator, or like the most sense. If someone has to go nuclear, I trust Josh over Bo Nix. Bo Nix is very clearly a system guy. I mean, the dink and dunks that he's able, I just don't think that's enough to beat the Bills. But I mean,
it's a rookie guy on the road. Like, that's tough.
Yep.
That's tough.
Yep. Agreed. Welcome back,
Superman
Jack.
Superman makes his fucking return. Don't worry, boys. I hope you were able to hold down the fort. Well, dude, here's the thing. Fuck RSV. I hate it.
Yeah.
Kids with RSV, it's awful.
It is. We're just making our playoff picks.
We're making our picks right now. Quick, we're about to get you
just gotta pick them though, Jack. Don't give us any Chargers, Texans.
Chargers.
Steelers, Ravens.
Is Justin playing?
Oh, I don't think there's any rumbles. I think it's Russ.
I gotta go Ravens.
Yep.
I don't feel great about it, but I gotta go Ravens.
Broncos, Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, we'll be wrong. So we're gonna be wrong about something. Something's gonna happen.
I feel
Game 4.
Okay, can I be honest with you guys for a second, real quick?
Do it.
I feel least confident in the Bills Broncos pick that I just made.
Were at, yeah.
The Broncos are playing pretty fucking well, man. Good for Bo Nix. Like Frank said it earlier. Like this rookie quarterback class, like I'm 2012 was talked about. This I feel like that was the last one with this many quarterbacks that was talked about. Like, oh, this is a quarterback class, and that was without Russell Wilson even mentioned because he wasn't a first round pick. This one might be something legit.
I agree.
I guess it doesn't really depend on JJ McCarthy, but like he could also be a quality starter. I didn't really think so, but
listen, Kevin O'Connell.
If
he'd have me throw for 3,000 yards. I don't give a fuck who's back there. You don't re-sign Kirk. He's Kevin O'Connell's a dog.
Yeah, we should trade for him. Sorry, fourth pick. You were
Fourth
saying.
game, Packers at Eagles. Eagles are favored by 4.5. I think this game could get ugly for the Pack. I really do. If the Eagles get out to an early lead, which, as we've documented, when the Packers play good teams, they are susceptible to an early double-digit deficit. I don't see them getting back into that game if that happens. I think
Is Hurts,
Eagles,
is he good to go?
He's still in concussion protocol.
He's gonna play.
He will. I think Wentz. I think they beat him with Wentz.
You mean Kenny Pickett?
Pickett. Yeah, Pickett. I think they beat him with Pickett.
Yeah. Dude, I think Hurts is going to play, and if he does, the Eagles will have all 22 starters for this game.
Jesus.
That is just crazy, dude.
Eagles Eagles are gonna
I don't know. I feel like the Pack, I think they have to see it in themselves. They don't play good teams well. They don't. So, I don't know. I think it could get out of hand. It could get out of hand pretty quick. But usually when I'm this confident about something, I get fucked over with my bet. So if anybody's listening, just fade me and take the Packers. I'm sure it will work out. Then we got Commanders Bucks in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, a field goal favorite at home in a playoff game. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful in my opinion. I got to take the Bucks. You're going to come into our house and you're saying this is even?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Buccaneers.
This is my favorite playoff game of the weekend, I think, boys. I like this. You got Baker. Say what you want. I know some people hate him. Some people love him. He's got a little bit of aura to him. You got a rookie quarterback coming in. I'm going Commanders.
I was a little surprised that the Commanders pulled Jaden Daniels, though, in that game.
Why did they? I didn't do too much paying attention to Week 18. I'm not going to lie to you. There was
something with his ankle, I think, that happened.
He was taking some massive hits in that game. Which
not for nothing, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's always going to be the concern with him.
Jaden is here for a good time, not a long time, Bubs. He's not going to be in this league for very long.
Yeah. Did you guys see Terry McLaurin drop that touchdown?
I did, yeah.
I'm going Buccaneers, because guess what? You know what? I think this might be the last time we see the matchup of Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's back. They're back, baby.
I like the Buccaneers offense, man.
I do too, dude.
I'm going. And that Commanders defense is not the best. Jalen McMillan has come along really well this season.
He has. He's looked good.
He stepped in for Godwin.
I feel like the Buccaneers keep a third receiver. They had fucking Scotty Miller a couple years ago.
Trey Palmer.
Like, where the fuck do they just get these guys from? That is all. Here's McMillan. Here's your 6th round, but whatever he was. Here he is. Here's 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. Like, what are we doing, bro?
They're a good organization.
Yeah. I hate
if they don't put pressure on Baker, I think he's just going to dice their asses up. Like,
I like this matchup for the Bucs, especially at home.
I just like the matchup. This is
you just want to see Jaden. You just want to see Jaden in the playoffs more.
No, fuck Jaden. I mean, I like Jaden. He's cool, but this just matchup wise, this has all the goods. This is a playoff game. This has the most playoff feel to a game to me.
Did you guys touch on the Texans statistic?
Oh, what is this statistic?
Every single time they've been in the playoffs, they've played the 3:30 slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Every single game. Because they're dog shit and they're bad in the playoffs and nobody cares about the Texans.
No one's ever expected anything from them.
Yeah, that's true.
Even with the nasty man.
They did have really cool Letterman jackets, though, when Arian Foster was there. My Mexican goat, shout out. Shout out, Bobby Vino.
They let the Colts win that division multiple times. Fucking bums.
Final game. Vikings Rams next Monday. Rams are at home, but they're laying 1.5. Vikings are favored 1.5 at the Rams. I don't know. Are we going to be prisoners of last night's game? I don't know.
That was as bad as it gets for.
That was the worst Darnold's
Sammy
look
D.
all year. I don't think there's any question.
And when it mattered most too.
And it's Stafford. Like, the guy has seen everything, so it's like.
But we've seen that offense just look anemic at times.
I know it reminds me so much of the Matt Nagy year 3, year 2. Like, it's ugly right now.
They're quarterback going up a defense that is going to pressure the hell out of him, and that offensive line is not the best that he's had to work with.
I mean, it does come down to pressure for both sides. It's.
I'm going to go Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings.
It's probably the safe pick.
I'm going Viking as well. I just don't see very many paths to victory for the Rams. They lost their change of pace back. Blake Corum, he's out. Kyron, I like
Cooper
Kyron.
Kupp is cooked.
Yeah, Puka is Puka. We know what he does.
Dude, I just want to watch Puka.
Higbee's back, so that could be big. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think the Vikings
it feels like the Rams peaked a little too early with that Bills game.
But the Vikings are going in. I mean, that could be a good thing.
Well,
going in after the worst game.
Like, so we can be beat. Like, it has been a minute since someone's dominated us. We can be beat if we do not step up. I did not love the red zone. Play calling by Kevin O'Connell during the game last night. I
think it was a mix of the play calling, which I agree I didn't like, but also the decision making by Sam Darnold. Like, he had Jordan Addison on a very clear touchdown. Like,
he had Jefferson.
Yep.
3 fucking times. Yep. But he just straight up missed him.
I wish they had a better run game. The Vikings. I think I would feel more confident if they had a better run game. If they had if Kyron Williams was a Viking, I'd be like, oh yeah, Vikings all the way.
I mean, this line's 1.5. There's a scenario where I could see the Vikings winning like 28-10. Like, I think that's absolutely on the table.
Darnold just.
I don't see the Rams blowing them out because I just don't know how the Rams are going to actually stop them. I don't think I don't think they have the personnel to do it.
This isn't the Lions defense with Aaron Glenn.
I don't know. Like, there was a lot of praise for the Lions last night, and I mean, they did do some amazing things, but a lot of it, at least from my perspective, was like the Vikings just missing plays. Like, they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot more than
the broadcast was saying it too. They were like, how many times did Collinsworth say it just feels like they're one big play away from completely dominating this game?
Yeah, I mean, they got in the red zone several times. They got in the red zone 4 times. Like,
Darnold was just bad. That was his worst game of the season.
No question.
When it matters most too, like, you worry about that because the Lions needed that bye week just to get hopefully some guys healthy. And you're in it. It's not like Darnold was outside. Like, he was in a dome. Like, there was no excuse to look like that, and he just looked like absolute ass. So, if Frank, you're talking about path to victories for the Rams, I think it's just Stafford, like the experience that comes with him in the play. Like, he's been in the playoffs, like he's won a Super Bowl. Like, this is Darnold. Is this Darnold's first playoff game? Right?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. No, certainly to make the playoffs with the Jets.
So you have to consider that if the Rams win, that's going to be a big part.
I mean, there's going to be more Minnesota fans at this game than Rams fans, but let's be real.
We've got to get this shit cleaned up. Why is a 14-3 team playing a 10-7 team on the road? Can we just use some common fucking sense here?
Yeah.
You want to go the NBA model?
I forgot that was a thing until literally you just said that. That's crazy.
Do you want the NBA model?
Yeah, or yes, it has to be that, or just something has to change. Just the team with the better record, even if it's the 7 that make it cool, team with a better record gets the home game. It just has to be that way.
I would like the divisions to just be like an auto bid, so that there's still a point to winning the divisions.
100%. I'm in.
I don't want to get rid of divisions like if you were to ask me right now who's in the Southwest Conference of the NBA, I would give you like maybe 2 teams.
Yeah.
Well, their
Right.
divisions
doesn't
never
matter.
It was always a conference. Their divisions
Right.
don't matter. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want that to be a thing.
Yeah.
I want divisions to matter in football.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. But you just got to, you can't have that. That's ridiculous. I just don't think that Sammy D is going to is going to be asked to do too much to win this game. The Rams are just, they feel like a middling, they're old yellers limping a little bit. Take them out to the shed, get the shotgun, and do their thing. But the reason why Sammy
what they've
D
done, dude, it's just crazy what they were able to do to make the playoffs over the Seahawks, who won 10 games, like after the way that they start. It's just Sean McVay,
dude.
Fuck,
he's gonna leave soon. He's not gonna be there for a rebuild. He's going to get traded like Sean Payton did.
He's trying to elongate this run as much as he can, but the moment it's very clear that it's over, I think he's gone. I agree.
And it might be like Stafford hasn't looked like Stafford in the last 2 years. He's still good because he's a good quarterback, but he's not been Stafford. He's gonna retire soon.
Something we touched on in our group chat that maybe we can touch on a little bit more when we talk about the future of Ryan Poles and how much confidence we have in him to pick the next head coach, because obviously he's staying. Like, we would have heard by now if he was fired.
Yeah.
But it's like, you look at what the Rams did. They sold out to win that Super Bowl. And they're right back in the fucking playoffs with good drafting, finding guys in the 5th round. Puka, wasn't Kyron Williams a 5th round pick too?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, they reloaded basically on the fly, and you're going to tell me that Ryan Poles needed 3 years to be right back here?
Mm-hmm. And they've hit on the D line. They haven't replaced Aaron Donald, but they've found a way to stabilize it at least.
They've done as good a job as
pretty
you
good
can.
Rookie.
Jared Verse, pretty good.
Talked about him a couple times last offseason.
Well,
shit. Did you guys go through the update on the coaching search? Do you want to do that real quick?
No. We're an hour in. We'll do that next week. We'll talk it could be all coaching search episode next week.
But David Shaw, don't you want to talk about David Shaw?
I don't want to talk about David Shaw.
I think we're going to have plenty of time to talk about coaches upcoming. More interviews are going to happen.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot going on over the next couple of weeks.
This is kind of it. Yeah, there's no other head coaches being fired. We're done. We're past Black Monday.
God bless the Raiders. Truly.
That's crazy.
Let me ask this, because I was curious myself. If the Raiders finish 1, 2, top 3, they make the change, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I just don't think they wanted to pay 3 coaches at once. They're still paying Gruden. He had a fucking 15-year contract.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
The Giants.
They'd be paying 4 coaches at once. If they were to fire him and hire a new one, that'd be 4, because that'd be Gruden, McDaniels, Pierce, and the new hire.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yep.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with them. I don't know how you could want to play for that team if you're a free agent. Obviously, if it's your last option, sure. But if you're trying to win, you're not going there.
Yeah. It's a good thing that them and the Jets exist, because you can always look at them and say, at least we're not them.
Yeah, the Jets are about to hire Rex Ryan, so.
Why are they even remotely? Why are you interviewing him?
I don't know. I don't know, because you have a dumb fan. You know what? He is their Lovie Smith.
He is, and now make no mistake, Lovie was a much better coach, I think. But yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah,
cut it out. Don't.
We're not doing this. We're going down that road.
I know.
This
Get
has
us out
been
of
the
here,
House
Jack.
of Halas Podcast. We genuinely appreciate you guys listening to us every single week throughout this miserable, disappointing Bears season that Frank doesn't see somehow as the most disappointing season of all time. Idiot. We'll be back, talk more about the offseason, what the Bears can do with that 10th overall pick, who the head coach we think should be, all of the head coaching updates. We really appreciate you guys listening throughout the season. We will be back next week with more Bears conversation if you desire that for some reason. Thank you for listening. This is Jack. That's Frank. That's Naz. Talk to you guys next week.
Later, y'all.